Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip, and today we are getting a little bit of a later start than usual. Having some Wi-Fi issues. I apologize if there's a lag. It should straighten out in the first couple minutes, guys, so bear with us here. We got a couple things we got to talk about. Obviously, the Fed is coming out with a rate hike tomorrow that every single person in the crypto space has their eye on. Bitcoin is breaking out over the last week, breaking above $28,000, an incredible move. The Bitcoin dominance is moving up in spectacular fashion, and we do have the Fed to thank for it. Banks are failing. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and a new pension fund that is having a huge loss. Pension funds are starting to crumble, and really the government is coming in here and they're saying, hey, everything's fine. Meanwhile, there's just like a fire burning in the background. Guys, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect out of this upcoming bull market and some of the news that's breaking with the banks and the Fed today in this live stream. So smash the like button. Welcome, everybody. I see the chat going wild this afternoon. Blacksea, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here as always. Super excited to go through all this crazy stuff that's been happening on a day-to-day basis and keep everybody in the know.
I think that we're going to have fun on the stream, Blacksea. I think we also got to run a poll. It seems like there's a lot of discussion. Do we like the goatee or do we not like the goatee? I don't know. We're getting mixed signals. We got to get an official tally, I think.
I'm voting mustache.
Mustache. All right. Well, I must ask you a couple questions on this stream where we're going here in these crypto charts. So we'll see. Let's get into it. T. Jackson, welcome. Benny Blue Eyes, welcome. Richard, welcome to Czar. We got Texas Crypto. We got the whole fam here today. This is wonderful. We're going to have a fun one, guys. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get in. Let me know in the chat, too. I want to make sure you guys can hear Blacksea all right. We're trying a little different audio setup. Make sure you let us know how the video's doing and how the audio's doing. We're trying something new today, so bear with us, guys. Looking at these crypto markets, we got a $1.178 trillion market cap. That is absolutely incredible. This is something that we've been keeping a close eye on here at the Crypto Report. Just as Blacksea and I have been talking about, Bitcoin dominance is making its moves up. This is basically how these bull markets and bear cycles go. It's all around the Bitcoin happening. Bitcoin leads the way. Everybody gets excited. The altcoins bleed against Bitcoin, still go up in US dollar value usually, but they're bleeding against Bitcoin, and that's what we're seeing. And look at how obvious it is. Looking at Bitcoin here over the last 7 days, 13% gains. You scroll down a little bit, you see increasingly less. XRP is the exception, having a big move today. We'll talk more about some of that. But a lot of really just kind of sideways moving projects here over the last 24 hours. 2%, 1%, 0.9% is something you see pretty consistently. You got CRO Coin at rank number 34, just at 7 cents, down 2.28% over the last 7 days, which is not shocking. We talk a lot about that here at the Crypto Report, the CRO Coin value versus BTC. Blacksea, let's just kind of, feeling out the room. We're going to get into some of the specifics, some of the metrics on what people are anticipating for the Fed rate hike, but how is the temperature in the room right now for crypto? Is it hot? Is it cold? What are your thoughts just given where we're at right now?
I think that right now it's really kind of a make or break point here for the alts, but as for Bitcoin, all in all, we're really waiting on what the Federal Reserve has to say. I think that everything kind of ties in with what they have to say. But, guys, banks are collapsing, and nowhere is safe to put your money except for it seems like the only safe haven right now is Bitcoin. That's going to do a lot of things to CRO Coin and other altcoins because people are going to be putting their liquidity into Bitcoin instead of these altcoins because that's the safest bet right now. You're going to see Bitcoin dominance come up. You're going to see money flow out of these altcoins into Bitcoin momentarily, not forever. You will eventually see a big move in CRO Coin and these other altcoins, but I think that for now you're going to be seeing Bitcoin dominance kind of come up and allow this liquidity flow into Bitcoin.
Yeah, and right now, as these banks are collapsing, guys, you're talking about banks that are managing trillions, if not billions of dollars right now. And this is something we got to keep in mind for the next bull market. Looking at this is a chart now of the overall market cap. Usually we look at it in coin market cap. Right now, we're looking at the total market cap on trading view right now. And in a video earlier today, I was drawing out a couple things. The previous bull market, looking at the last two bull markets, you had a 303% rally from peak to peak for the previous two bull markets. If we can get a 300% rally peak to peak into this next bull market, I'm looking at a $10 trillion market cap. Guys, that's a 241% gain to a $10 trillion market cap. When you start really thinking about that, you move $9 trillion extra dollars into the crypto market. Not only is Bitcoin going to explode upward, right? Bitcoin's got a $500 billion market cap right now, about $500 billion. But the altcoins are going to explode. If $9 trillion flows into cryptocurrency, how many billions of dollars can flow into a coin like CRO? That's only a $1.8 billion market cap. And keep that in mind, guys, $2 billion gets a 2x for CRO, right? And we're talking about $9 trillion flowing into crypto. Looking at this, how do you feel about altcoins in the next bull market if we do hit this 10 trillion? And by the way, guys, it could be more, right, if these banks are collapsing. But Blacksea, altcoins and Bitcoin, obviously, it's really one of the central conversations right now. What are your thoughts here, given this market cap?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing, not financial advice, guys, but what I'm doing right now is I want to accumulate more Bitcoin. I think that accumulating Bitcoin is good. I have my bags and my altcoins that I really, really like. I'm not going to be selling them. I trade NFTs here and there. I pull profits out, but I'll tell you where I'll be putting those profits. I'll be putting those profits into Bitcoin right now. And my main goal is outside fiat for dollar cost averaging. I'm mainly going to be focusing heavily into Bitcoin, and I will sprinkle a little bit into ETH because I think that if the alts decide to run, it's important to have some extra exposure. And Ethereum, I mean, Ethereum is not even an altcoin really when you think about it, but at this point, the market cap's massive. But I'm going to be mainly trying to be accumulating Bitcoin for the next months here, depending on where this Bitcoin dominance level goes.
Totally agree. I am going to be looking at Bitcoin in a big way. And then eventually I'll probably be selling some of that Bitcoin for alts as kind of following the money, right? This is how these cycles break down. Right now, Bitcoin's the only thing that's really breaking out in a big way. We've drawn out quite a few price levels for Bitcoin here over the last few weeks. And if you look back, you can see, here's our bear market. We kind of came down. This was the last big crash. It was the FTX collapse. And then we hit bottom. And right around here, right after the FTX collapse, as soon as we kind of had any kind of recovery out of this, Blacksea and I were looking at this and saying, this really feels like a bottom. We've been talking about it on the channel. And if you guys have been buying since November, you've had almost 4 months of full purchasing power. You take your paycheck, you take a little piece, you would be up significantly right now. If you were just buying Bitcoin alone, you would be up 77% on your investment, your first investment. Let's just say
smash that like button if you've been buying since we called bottom. Smash that like button because honestly, you'd be pretty happy if you've been buying. And all in all, if you guys have just been dollar cost averaging, I know you're happy.
Really, and actually, I heard something crazy today. If you were buying Bitcoin and you were dollar cost averaging Bitcoin from the top, a consistent amount every single day, you would actually be net positive right now. I heard that out there somewhere. I didn't do the math. I can't verify that, but somebody was saying, and when you just think about it over time, it really does make sense. If you just buy across time, if you had bought, let's just say, go 2 bull markets ago, right? You go back to 2017. If you started buying here and we are here, you inevitably made boatloads of money. That's just a fact. If you buy over time, you're going to come out most times way better off than a lot of traders, right? Because most people kind of FOMO in, right? Most people are buying towards the top and selling towards the bottom, which is really the opposite of what you want to do. And let's just pretend you did want to trade. Let's pretend you were a trader and you wanted to take advantage of some of these leverage trading apps and these opportunities. You can see clear channels. If you had longed from the bottom of this channel and shorted from the top of this channel, you could have made serious gains. And right in between these channels, there is so many other opportunities. These are the weekly candles. If I go down to the daily, you can see so many more ups and downs, so many opportunities to sell the top, buy the bottom, sell the top, buy the bottom, and even arguably right now, could be a good time for short. I think it's premature. It's a little dangerous. We might hit $30,000. We got to see what happens with the Fed rate hike. But I'll be honest, if Bitcoin hits $30,000, I think that might be a great shorting opportunity down to the $26,000, $27,000 price level again before we continue straight up. Because if you go back to the history, guys, nothing goes straight up. You look even at the parabolic days for Bitcoin. Here's a big part of the bull run. Big retracements. You see, we go up by, boom, 200, 300%. And then all of a sudden, we come down a whopping 40, 30%. There are so many opportunities for volatility and trading in there. But really, dollar cost averaging is a fantastic strategy when you think about it. If you're just dollar cost averaging over time, banks are failing, fiat is crumbling, and Bitcoin's getting more and more popular. And we're seeing it. Here, we had a $3 trillion market cap last bull market. I'm looking at a $10 trillion market cap next bull market, and what does that mean for a price of Bitcoin? On the high end, Blacksea, how do you feel? Is it a $200,000 Bitcoin? Is it a $1 million Bitcoin in 90 days? We didn't even talk about that yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with the conservative end and say that I think conservatively, between the ranges of 100 to 160,000 is very, very likely. But if this narrative around the banks collapsing keeps getting hyped up and pushed and pushed and pushed, there's no reason why it doesn't just go crazy. And that's why, it's more risky to not own Bitcoin than it is to own Bitcoin at this point, especially in this upcoming year, which I keep calling the year of accumulation leading into the Bitcoin halvening. But especially during this year, if you don't own any Bitcoin, just own a little bit, buy a little bit, because it's more of a risk to not own Bitcoin and have all these banks collapse than it is to own a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to be abandoning the banks, let's just say all the money magically flows out of the banks, which is extremely bold and extremely unlikely that all the money flows out of the banks, and maybe 100 years from now, but I think banks are seriously going to lose a lot of the market share. That is an opportunity, guys, for what asset? If the banks are losing, well, then what's winning? Is it gold? Is it real estate? And really, with the market moves we're seeing right now, you can see people are answering, it's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. Not necessarily even CRO Coin, not Ethereum, but Bitcoin is the number one choice. That's why Bitcoin is one of the top performing coins out there, at least consistently over the last 3 months. People love their Bitcoin. And if you're going to choose anything over a bank, this seems to be the answer for now. That being said, let's take a peek at what we can expect out of some of the altcoins. One altcoin we look at a lot here on the channel is CRO Coin. We love it. I've got a huge bag of CRO Coin, as does Blacksea, and we expect big things for this coin. And we talk a lot about how, hey, if we hit the bottom of our all-time trading ranges of CRO Coin versus Bitcoin, and then we kind of rally up to the top of the band, you could have 1,000% gains. But in the meantime, I highly, highly anticipate, and this is not financial advice, but I do expect CRO Coin to continue on this pattern downward and hit the bottom of this band. And Blacksea, here's something we haven't really done, but I'm just going to give you guys an example. I'm going to pull up Polkadot now versus BTC. I'm just giving you guys a random coin, Polkadot versus BTC. What's that altcoin doing? It's crashing versus Bitcoin. If you look at some of these other ones, let's look at like Cardano versus Bitcoin. Let's see how that's doing. Again, absolutely getting wrecked versus BTC, having a little bit of a rally today, but every single project out there not every single one, but 90% of cryptos right now are crashing versus BTC. But that doesn't mean that there can't be these whopper rallies coming. Who knows? Back to the all-time high, a 436% run for Cardano versus Bitcoin. How are you feeling right now? I mean, would it be stupid to buy these altcoins right now, or does it not matter in your opinion? Like, let's say you were starting with a clean slate, Blacksea. Walk me through kind of what you might be doing if you had $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month. And if I had a clean slate and if I knew everything I knew now, I mean, it depends on the strategy. But I think if I didn't know anything about crypto and I had $1,000 and I knew that I needed to buy into crypto, the go-to is obviously Bitcoin. I would be buying Bitcoin right now. But if I didn't have any exposure to anything else, well, right now, if I were in a trading strategy, we're going to add all these other caveats. If I had a trading strategy with this as well, I probably would do something like 60 to 70% of that $1,000, so $700 into Bitcoin, and then take $200 of that, maybe even $250 of that, put that in Ethereum, and then that last $50 probably put it into some smaller altcoin, just in case, because we are talking about this Bitcoin dominance coming up, but there is also a chance that we stall out at 30,000. We stall out. Bitcoin dominance drops as we stay at about $30,000 Bitcoin, and you see these altcoins really, really run. There is a chance of that happening. So it's very important to see exposure or have exposure in your portfolio to all the coins that you have true conviction for. However, sometimes there is some rebalancing that needs to be put in order. And but if you were to give me $1,000 a month, I would start off by doing a 70, 25, and 5 into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then my other coins respectively.
Yeah, I mean, I really do agree. I at least for now, again, the caveat here is knowing what you know now. What would you do with the 1,000? And I love the strategy because we know Bitcoin's going to go on a tear, and then eventually there will be a bottom, guys, and I'm going to be looking at these to determine my strategy, right? Am I going to move some of my Bitcoin over into alts when Bitcoin kind of gets tired and the alts get tired of going down? That's something I'm going to be looking at. But if you gave me $1,000 right now, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say it'd be a bad thing to just like fly it into Bitcoin and keep an eye on some of these charts. Even Ethereum versus Bitcoin right now, that's an interesting chart to look at as well. Bottom line is Bitcoin pretty much, again, against 95% of the coins is the top performer, and eventually that'll change. But hey, if you took $1,000 and you did, 50% to Bitcoin, 40% into ETH, and then, you went for some altcoin picks, maybe Bitcoin does better in the meantime, and then maybe your altcoins just make you rich, right? And so that's something to keep in mind. Again, not every altcoin is going to make you rich, but there's usually at least one or two altcoins in these bull markets that, thousands of people become millionaires from. We're going to try to keep an eye out for that.
10x, 100x, 1000x, that definitely happens with some of these small cap altcoins, especially when the bull run really starts to take off.
Yep. But here's something I want to, and that last bull market, it was Shiba Inu. Well, let's see how Shiba Inu is doing versus Bitcoin right now. It's getting crushed. I was looking at this earlier. It's absolutely getting crushed versus Bitcoin, just like everything else. And so, guys, we'll keep an eye on it, but some of these alts will come along, and inevitably they will be FOMO opportunities because 99.9% of us aren't going to be in whatever altcoin absolutely rips in the next bull market, right? And then everybody's going to start talking about it and piling in, and there you will have the next Shiba Inu, right? I don't think Shiba Inu is going to be the next Shiba Inu. It's going to be something that you don't even know yet, right? And we'll keep an eye on that, but it's going to be fun. Remember, guys, $9 trillion could flow into this market if we get to the $10 trillion mark. I think we might get higher than that. Where's that money going to flow? We'll keep talking about it. But looking at Bitcoin, let's take a peek at 2023. So far, 40% gains in January, 0.3% gains in February, still ended green. And now in March, we're up to 21.04%. Now, Blacksea, this Fed rate hike, is this getting people excited? Is this irrelevant? Is this all the banks for you? Or what do you think drove Bitcoin up 21%? Or do you think all of that's irrelevant and it's just the cycles for Bitcoin?
I think that there's a lot of things playing hand in hand together, but I think that the stars are aligning, if you will. But you know, I think that the major thing, which is the match to light the fuse, is what the Federal Reserve has to do and what kind of position they're in right now. I mean, let's rewind 3 weeks ago. We were looking at a super hawkish Fed.
Yeah.
The Fed was
Yeah.
talking about, oh, guys, we didn't anticipate that it was this bad. We're going to have to raise the rates more. And next thing you know, a week later, banks start collapsing. Bank runs start happening. And now they have an emergency meeting, and now they're saying, maybe actually we're not going to do that. We need to figure out what we're going to do. And then they print $300 billion. And that $300 billion is the green light saying, guys, the party is back in town. So, it's going to be really, I would not want to be Jerome Powell right now, because
No.
it is going to be very, very tricky for him to navigate this upcoming meeting, because what he says could really, really be catastrophic to the market, or could do the exact opposite, and it would be catastrophic to the market. If they print money,
Yep.
it's going to be catastrophic to the market.
Yeah.
If they raise rates, it's going to be catastrophic to the market.
Yep. And we see the fear here because Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, has to come out and say, first of all, she came out weeks ago and she was saying, hey, let me pause this video. That's a little distracting. Okay. She came out weeks ago and she said, hey, we're not going to bail out the banks. It's not on the table. Well, they came out and they bailed out the banks. Now, they're not going to call it a bailout. They still haven't called it a bailout, but it was a bailout. Let's be real here. They gave money to the banks. They printed $300 billion, or was it billion? Million?
300 billion.
Yeah, 300 billion with a B. It's so, I forgot because it's so hard to believe. They printed $300 billion. Now she's saying, oh, the bank situation is stabilizing. Keep in mind, the Fed printed $300 billion less than 7 days ago to try to plug the hole in the boat. The bank situation is not stabilizing. This is a lie. They're trying to keep faith in the banking system, in the dollar, and the more that they say everything's fine, the more people are starting to kind of itch their head and scratch their stuff and say, I don't know, is everything okay? Do I really want my money in the bank? And this is part of the reason we're seeing this money pour into crypto right now. I really do believe it. And as the questions continue to loom on these banks, yeah, it's the inflation conversation. Everybody's looking at this. And let's just go back, 3-4 weeks ago. Everybody was sure we were going to get a 0.5% interest rate hike. Everybody was sure of it. And now where are we at? Look at this. Earlier today, I showed this chart. It changed. It changes every single day, but we are up to an 87.1% chance, guys, is what you're saying, that there is going to be a 0.25% interest rate hike. Now, personally, I still believe that they should do a 0% interest rate hike. But unfortunately, the European Central Bank, I believe it was, came out and they did a 0.5% interest rate hike. The Fed, globally, the US and Europe, they're still trying to fight inflation. And so it does look like they're probably going to have to do a 0.25% rate hike. But if they do that, it still causes more and more pain for the banks. So when Janet Yellen comes out and says that the bank situation is stabilizing, well, if they're going to raise the rate hikes, is this really going to stabilize? We just saw Credit Suisse get bought out by UBS, one of their biggest rivals. That is an acquisition that was not supposed to happen ever. They basically forced UBS to acquire Credit Suisse Bank. Credit Suisse Bank is worth billions upon billions of dollars, much bigger, 2 times bigger than the SVB Bank that collapsed. And now they're still going to raise these rate hikes, and banks are still struggling. I mean, do we
let's talk about that for a second, because they just printed $300 billion, and that literally erased the past 6 months of pain when it came to the interest rates, so interest rate hikes. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. What are the chances? I want to know. I want to know your opinion, Crypto Kip. What are the
Okay.
chances that they print money and raise rates at the same time? What are the chances of that? Because I've been thinking about that for a while, and because that seems like the only possible thing they could do, and it seems really counterintuitive. So I'm really curious on what your thoughts are on that.
I think that they have totally lost a grip on the situation. And I think that we are going to get this rate hike. I don't think we should, but I think we will. I think we will get this 0.25% rate hike, which will probably in the short term be a little bit bearish and then probably immediately bullish, because we all know that basically this is all a sham. This is a bunch of lever pulling by the Fed. Like, they're out of control. We know that they're out of control right now. But yeah, I mean, they printed $300 billion last week. I think they're going to raise the rates tomorrow. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they printed more money, because really, if these banks are continuing to fail, they'll have to. But are they going to continue to raise the interest rates after the next raise? That one, I don't think they can. If this is going to be a rate hike, I think it's got to be the last one for a while. But really, what don't you see out there as a narrative right now? What you don't see is anybody talking about the implications 12 months away from now. Because honestly, nobody can tell you how we get out of the mess of inflation. At the point that we're in, there's literally no escape route from inflation. And if you escape inflation, you get banks collapsing, which they don't want either. And so literally it is a lose-lose for the Fed, no matter what they do. We are dead in the water right now when it comes to the Fed.
It's actually incredible when you really put it that way and you pick it apart that way. That's why I keep saying I would not want to be Jerome right now, because he is seriously between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and then I just think it's hilarious, and I see the chat talking about her too. Like, Yellen is saying the situation is stabilizing. How? Like, it's not stabilizing, and right now they're looking at like 180 something other smaller banks that are having issues. They're they're doing a big investigation into these banks to see if they're about to collapse, because frankly, it looks like more banks will collapse, but they're in between a rock and a hard place. And I don't know. I mean, Blacksea, what do you think? Can they continue to raise the rates and print money? I mean, are they going to, or what are your thoughts on the matter?
I think that's the only answer, and I think that's going to cause some serious mayhem. Richard Merrill in the chat, 80% chance they're going to 0.5. I'm going to be honest, Richard. If they do a 0.5 rate hike, that's going to be extremely hawkish and extremely bearish, and you're going to see some mayhem happening in the market, and that I think the Fed knows that, and I don't think that the market can handle that. I really don't. I think that would cause some serious turmoil, not only in the market but also the world. But I think there's a chance of a 0.25. I think that there's a good chance of that, but it's we're gonna I'm happy that I'm in crypto. I'll say that much. To summarize it all, I'm really happy that I have a big position in crypto, because the traditional market's in a sketchy spot.
It really is. And I'm going to piggyback on your thoughts about that 0.5% interest rate hike. Now, if that does happen, I think it'd be incredibly bearish. But I'll tell you this too, guys. If that 0.5% interest rate comes, I think that Bitcoin and crypto would probably in the short term go down. But I would also say this, we've been watching crypto go off these Fed rate hikes for the last couple months. It's been several months we've been watching these rate hikes, and depending on if the Fed was hawkish or dovish, Bitcoin would move in the appropriate direction, right? If they were hawkish, it'd go down, and if they were dovish, it'd go up. I think we are right on the precipice, love that word, of the rate hikes not mattering at all for Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, I think people are just going to realize, wait a minute, Bitcoin's literally got nothing to do with any of this, and it's doing spectacularly, and we're getting ready for a bull run. So who cares what the Fed's doing? They already are losing control. The dollar's in trouble. I opt out. And that's really what Bitcoin is. I opt out of the traditional banking system. I opt out of all the Fed's lever pulling on how we're going to control the dollar. It's an opt out. And I think we're right at the precipice of the markets showing that. And if we get a 0.5% rate hike, maybe you'd be a little bearish at first. I think eventually Bitcoin shrugs it off and moves up in a big, big way.
I can agree with that. That's a good point, the opting out, because, let's think about this, guys. Bitcoin was created back in 2018 because of the 2008, excuse me, financial crisis. And guess what, guys? Right now, right this second, right now, this Bitcoin is being used for what it was initially created for, a way to protect the people from the banking industry. And that is what it's being used for right now. And I think people are starting to open their eyes and realizing, wow, these centralized agencies and these centralized financial conglomerates won't protect me. Yep. Why should I put my money with them when I can put my money into a trustless ecosystem being blockchain and Bitcoin?
Yep.
It's a no-brainer.
And Texas crypto, you hit the nail on the head there. You said they lost a grip a long time ago. They really did. They really did, Texas crypto. I mean, just look at the facts. I mean, look at the debt. Just look up the U.S. debt clock on its own, and that just tells you everything. I was back in middle school before I could even grow a goatee, which, by the way, I'm curious how that poll did. Did we do the poll? Do we got to do the goatee poll?
I'm sending a poll. All
right. Do you want me to have a goatee or not? Some people in my life love it, some people don't. But yeah, they lost a grip a long time ago. Back when I was in middle school, before I could grow a goatee, we talked about the debt clock, and it's still ticking, guys. And that is the obvious sign, and everything else is just like more evidence for the case. And it's a bull case for crypto at the end of the day. But here's another story. Alteca's losses hit $2 billion after First Republic sale. First Republic, another bank that collapsed, guys. And Alteca is Sweden's largest pension fund. They have a loss of almost $2 billion because of this bank collapse, guys. You're watching it. You're watching it all trickle down. It's not just the banks now, it's pension funds. More banks are probably going to collapse over the week. Let's watch it happen. It's almost inevitable that more failures are coming here, and really just causing more money to allow itself to flow into Bitcoin. But U.S. Senate Elizabeth Warren calls for a crackdown on sham crypto audits. Why don't we take a look?
I can't. When I see it, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's so hard not to just laugh so hard at this because, wow. All you can say is, wow.
It's insane. She's just trying to put the conversation back on a crypto, but the real conversation is on the banks. Nobody cares about the crypto crackdown anymore. That conversation has gone and really left. And anything else that's remaining of that is just a desperate attempt. It's just scratching at the door to try to open up the door back to crypto FUD and fear. You can't really put the cat back in the bag. It's not going away. Banks are failing. We see it happening, and crypto is going to move up because of it. And no matter how many threats are going to be put out by politicians and the government, we see crypto coming out on top. And another big story that everybody's talking about right now, and Ripple pumped big time today. This is part of the reason SEC versus Ripple verdict could come at a pivotal time right now for the crypto industry. We are getting ready for another bull market, guys. That's what the title is here. On the video, in the thumbnail, for a reason. We do believe that the bull market's coming. And matter of fact, you could actually argue that, hey, maybe we're officially in the bull market, right? I mean, hey, if the bottom's in, is it a bull market? You could say that potentially. But really another thing that everybody's looking out for outside of the Fed rate hikes, because again, we do believe that eventually the Fed rate hikes are going to be meaningless for crypto. The next big thing is crypto regulation. And if this SEC case versus Ripple can come to a close and Ripple can mark a big W here, not only would it be good for Ripple, but it would be massive for the entire crypto industry. Crypto.com, Binance, all these companies that are trying to play with regulation here in and outside the US. This would be a big green light for a big, big go in the upward movement in the bull market. What are your thoughts on that one, Blacksea?
Yeah, I think that it would be perfect timing. It would be perfect timing with all of this, and there's a lot of that going on right now with I've been saying it, the stars aligning, with the banks getting the pressure from the rate hikes, with Bitcoin being made for this exact problem the banks are having.
Yeah.
And then you've got regulation lining up. And I think that the regulation will line up perfectly with when the bull run really truly starts, when it starts to gain some legs in the next year here.
Yeah.
And I think that when it really all combines, I think we will get some regulation. And I've been saying this for a while. The regulation will not be heavy-handed. There's no way that they can get away with heavy-handed crypto regulation, because if they do, well, whatever country doesn't do that is going to become the mecca of the new financial world.
Yeah,
And all in all, it all is going to be the stars aligning, and it's going to probably, the regulation will probably come in near the start of the true bull run. We have our legs up, and it's going to be great.
And to your point, they can't be heavy-handed. Absolutely. And just yesterday, I put out a story about how the co-author of Joe Biden, the president of the United States' crypto bill, came out and said basically that they're inviting crypto innovation. They do not want to squash it. The U.S. does not want to squash it. This is the co-author of Joe Biden's crypto bill. And remember, guys, everybody's talking about Operation Choke Point. And to a point, I do believe that there are people that are trying to fight crypto for sure. But I think they're really just trying to slow it down and kind of put this whole transition to Bitcoin on the slow track. Inevitably, though, they really can't put it on too slow of a track, because then they will fall behind. And you even see the co-author of this crypto bill with Joe Biden, Joe Biden's bill, coming out and saying, hey, we can't really afford to miss out on crypto, which is exactly the point Blacksea was just talking about, which we've been talking about here on the channel for months and months and months. That was a big fear with the FTX collapse.
Yeah, imagine if when the internet came out, the United States said, yeah, we're not going to have that here. Right. Imagine how far behind we would be for those that live in the United States. Imagine how far behind the United States would be from the rest of the world. It's just, you can't say no to innovation. No. If you say no to innovation, you're going to fall behind. You won't be a world power anymore. And I see a question from Richard Maryland here asking if he should keep his 4 ounces of gold or sell it. I'll say this. I think the name of the game when it comes to investing is be diversified in different asset classes, and you'll do all right. I like to have precious metals. I like to have cryptocurrency, real estate, and even some traditional stocks. I have my long-term portfolio, my mid-term portfolio for swing trading, and then I have a smaller portfolio to do day-to-day trades with, like leverage trading.
Yep, and I will also comment on that one as well. And this is not financial advice, Richard, but if I had that, I'll tell you what I'd do. I would sell the gold and buy Bitcoin personally. But that being said, diversification is brilliant. So if you want some gold, if you believe in gold, and you believe in gold in a big way, man, hold it, right? I've got some gold. This is a family heirloom. This is my gold, but this is not because of it's an investment. This is just sentimental value to me, right? This is a piece of jewelry. It's been in my family. It's meaningful to me. I'm not going to sell this gold, but if I had some as investment, I would like to argue that I think Bitcoin's going to go up faster than gold. Also, hey, you got some Bitcoin. Maybe you want a little bit of gold. That's reasonable as well. But I actually did a video the other day about how I believe that Bitcoin's going to outperform gold in a massive, massive way. So check that video out. Maybe you get some ideas, but not financial advice. Just you ask. So there you go. 2 different opinions. That's what we'll give you guys. We're going to give you our honest opinion. Blacksea and I don't have the same opinion, right? Some of you guys are speculating, are we brothers? We'll leave that as a mystery. Some of you guys are speculating that Blacksea is actually me and I'm a ventriloquist. We'll leave that as a mystery too. You never know.
I am Crypto Kip.
I am Blacksea.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, man. That's good. I love it. What else is going on? Crypto.com, big moves, getting licensing in Dubai, guys. I think this is fantastic for them. I do believe in Crypto.com. I do believe that we will get back to $1. This license is not official yet. It's a 3-step process, but this is coming. This would put them ahead of a lot of other crypto companies that are trying to get into Dubai. This could be spectacular. And on top of that, guys, some really great news for the Loaded Lions and Crypto.com. Look at this post by Crypto Diamond. Crypto Diamond is actually one of the #1 loaded lion holders out there. I think he has the most loaded lions out there. So I follow him on Twitter. I check it out. But he posted this. Loaded lions were in New York Times, in Times Square in New York. And actually, if you go through this, you can see they put up a bunch of the lions on the billboards and some details about them. There's a gold lion with a crown with laser eyes. Super cool to see. I'm feeling really bullish, guys, on crypto.com and the loaded lions. That being said, these loaded lions are so cheap right now at $1,200. So I think it's a great price, really, if you're interested in loaded lions and you're excited for the crypto.com land game, the loaded lions game to come out. This is a little bonus in game, right? You get more rewards in game if you have a loaded lion. I think historically this is an incredibly low price for this project. And just so you guys know, we are giving away, if you don't already know, a loaded lion on the channel at 25,000 subscribers, guys. We are almost at 8,000 subscribers. When we hit to 25,000 subscribers, which in the bull market, that should come pretty quick, guys, we will be giving away this loaded lion. All you got to do is follow us at _crypto report for the details to this giveaway. And for every single month, you remember, like Mr. Plan Profit, like Ron Wilson, like T. Jackson, Granny Jackson in the chat. That's our one lady member. We got, who else we got? We got Benny Blue Eyes. We even got Slay Maven. Slay Maven, if you're out there, I know you've been busy, brother, on the grind. If you guys want to become a member, like Nazar, like anybody else on the in the comment section there, you get an additional 10 entries for every single month you're a member on the channel. All you got to do is go to our YouTube channel and you can join as a member or in the link in the description down below. So check that out, guys, and tell them also what comes with our membership program in terms of what we got for them.
Yeah, sure. I think this is my favorite part about our membership program is we have our private Discord where I give away trade signals, NFT alpha. We have NFT whitelist spot giveaways that are going to be coming soon, and it's more of a one-on-one community where we all can talk with each other. Crypto Kip and I try to pop in there every day and talk with you guys, and it's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun with it. I absolutely love it, and we hope that grows and continues to start a dialogue. And I think, Richard Merrill, you were talking about trading strategies. We want to get more involved in some of these trading strategies and maybe even putting out some trading signals there in that Discord.
Yeah.
So keep
the
an eye out.
The other day, I just posted one of my lever trades on Twitter. I had a nice 18.8% gain on my Solana trade over on FOMC. If you guys want to get some free money with some of these leverage trading platforms, in the description box below, we got FOMC and BitGet. All you got to do is click the link, sign up, deposit some money, and open some trades, and you can win a bunch of free money.
Absolutely, guys, and we will keep an eye on this Bitcoin price for you guys. More videos to come. We are doing 5 videos every single day for you guys. The big question is can we get to $30,000? A lot of people do believe that we are going to get there very, very soon, and I would like to report that the poll results have come in. Should Crypto Kip have a goatee? The answer, yes. 84% like the goatee, and no, 15% do not like the goatee. Okay, guys. All right, guys. We will grow back the goatee at some point. We'll see. You know what? We'll have to put out more polls. We only had 19 votes, so votes could be skewed. We'll have to see. But guys, that was a lot of fun. What a fun stream here today. That's really all we got here in this one. As always, got to get some parting words from Blacksea. Any parting words for the community out there today?
Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I see a lot of people asking some questions about how much CRO is enough CRO. You know, I think Joni, is 100,000 CRO good enough? What do you guys think? I think 100,000 CRO is fantastic, especially if you're staking that. You're making probably another 10,000 CRO a year just in passive income, which is really great. But honestly, it's just think of it as a percentage of your portfolio. Don't think of it as a specific number. Just think of it as a percentage compared to your overall portfolio. If that's 50% of your portfolio, maybe you have a little bit less. If that's 0.1% of your portfolio, maybe you have a little bit more. Everyone's strategy is different, but yeah, think of it in percentages, not in quantities of that specific coin.
Yeah, I love that. And, 100,000 CRO is a fantastic bag. I think that's absolutely